My best friend asked to have a threesome with my husband. I, 23 female, and my husband, 23 male, host a Dungeons and Dragons meeting every other weekend. The last weekend we hosted, my friend, we will call her Alex, 22 female, pulled me aside to talk one-on-one. Mind you, she has a boyfriend, 21 male, who is the D&D master, I think is what you call it. Anyways, she pulls me aside into my own bedroom and tells me how she has fantasies of having a threesome with her boyfriend and my husband. I am, of course, thrown back, not expecting this to be the conversation. She tells me about these threesome fantasies, and then proceeds to ask me if I would be okay with it, and that she would understand if I said no. And asks again in a different way, and I'm trying to be as nice as I can by saying, me and my husband will have to talk about it, and that personally I'm not super comfortable with it. Maybe I should have just been rude with it. So I get us off the topic, so she will drop it, and then her BF and my husband come into the room. She brings up the conversation and is blushing and hiding her face, saying she's just nervous about it, but proceeds to bring it up anyways. So now we're all in the room together talking about this, and I stay adamant that me and my husband will talk alone after they leave. Fast forward to them leaving, and we're walking out the door, and Alex whispers behind me, "At least think about it." I thought I heard her wrong, so I ask her to repeat, and she just keeps saying, "Never mind." They leave. My husband and I talk, and he's not comfortable with it either and doesn't want to be part of this so-called threesome idea. I wait a couple days to calm down because I'm obviously super upset by this. I messaged Alex's BF and asked him what his thoughts were. Basically, his understandings were that she doesn't want the threesome to happen and that it was something she just couldn't get out of her head. So she wanted to tell me so she could get over it. But she asked me for permission. IDK. I feel like I'm being double-crossed, and I do not trust her around my husband whatsoever. But how am I supposed to respond now? We still have D&D meets, and although we're at odds with the couple, we love everyone else and don't want to leave them just because of her.
Welcome, listeners. Today, we're tackling a story that definitely feels not normal. It really makes you question friendship boundaries. We got this account from a listener, and honestly, it's fascinating but also incredibly awkward.
Yeah, what's really striking here is how fast it crosses a line, a big one. We're talking about an unspoken social contract, just boom, shattered. So our listener, she's 23, and her best friend Alex is 22. And Alex has her own boyfriend, right, who's actually the DM, the dungeon master, and Alex confesses she's been having fantasies about a threesome involving herself, her boyfriend, and the listener's 23-year-old husband.
Wow, just drops that bomb mid-game night, essentially.
Exactly. In that context, it's already awkward.
But it gets even weirder. Alex doesn't just confess this fantasy. She then asks our listener if she'd be okay with it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And not just once. She asks twice. Even after the listener is clearly uncomfortable and tries to say something like, my husband and I would need to talk about that.
So she pushed, even when she got that signal.
Right. That persistence is kind of baffling, isn't it? Like, why keep pushing when someone's clearly trying to back away gently?
It really is key, that repeated asking. It shows either, well, maybe a serious lack of reading the room or maybe just completely ignoring those signals. It's more than just awkward. It's actively violating a boundary again and again. And it keeps putting the listener back in that awful position of having to say no.
So the listener tried to handle it nicely in private, but maybe she feels now, looking back, she should have just been, rude, or at least way more direct.
Yeah.
Because it didn't end there. Alex then brings it up again.
No.
Later.
Yeah.
When everyone is back in the room.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend, the DM, is there. Our listener's husband is there.
Oh my gosh. In front of everyone.
Well, maybe not shouting it, but yeah, she brings it up. Listener said she was blushing and seemed nervous, but she still pushed the issue.
That takes some nerve or something.
And then the final kicker. As Alex is leaving for the night, she whispers to our listener, "At least think about it."
Wow. Just refusing to let it go.
Exactly. Talk about not taking multiple hints.
And connecting this to the aftermath makes it even stranger, right? Because the listener, obviously feeling betrayed and frankly not trusting Alex near her husband, which is completely understandable.
Right. So she talks to Alex's boyfriend, the DM, trying to get some clarity. And his explanation,
What did he say?
he says Alex didn't actually want the threesome. She just needed to tell the listener about the fantasy to get it out of her head.
Wait, what? That makes no sense. That completely contradicts everything Alex did.
I know, asking twice, bringing it up again, whispering, think about it. That doesn't sound like someone just, clearing their head.
Not at all. It sounded like active pursuit. His explanation feels, I don't know, like it's trying to smooth things over in a really dishonest way, almost like gaslighting, trying to rewrite what actually happened.
Yeah, that disconnect is huge. So where does that leave our listener? She really likes the rest of the D&D group, doesn't want to lose those friends over Alex, but she feels totally betrayed. And her husband also definitely not okay with any of them.
Of course not. It's put him in terrible position, too.
So yeah, she's caught between a rock and a hard place.
Mm-hmm.
A really weird, uncomfortable rock and a hard place.
It really is. It's not just about saying no to something unwanted. It's about navigating this massive breach of trust within a friendship and how it affects the whole social circle.
How do you protect yourself, your marriage, but maybe also try to salvage the parts of your social life you still value? It's tough.
Extremely tough. There's no easy answer there.
So this deep dive really leaves us, and you, the listener, with something to think about. If you were in the situation, faced with this kind of shocking, persistent boundary push from a best friend, what would you have done in that moment? And maybe more importantly, what would you do next?